Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Live Now, where we discuss cars that are currently live on Cars and Bids, and we are joined yet again by Crazy Nick. Welcome back, Nick.
Thanks for having me.
A tremendous pleasure. Now, this week, I was going through the website and trying to determine what our theme would be. I like to kind of pick something that we can, use thematically to build our garages. There are too many good cars on the website right now of a variety of different types of cars to pick one. So I really couldn't do that. So this week we're just talking about cars that you and I find as our favorite, stuff that we think is interesting, stuff we would actually like to own, like cool stuff that's live on the site. Sound good?
Sounds perfect. I got a bunch of cash burning a hole in my pocket after selling the Murcielago last week. So
that's right.
This is the right exercise for me.
It's got that Mercy money here.
Oddly, this is how I use the website every week. I go in and I just add every car I'm even remotely interested in my watch list, and I can just kind of track values and keep a pulse on what cars are gettable, what they're fetching, read the comments, learn. So this is really just, hey, what's in your watch list right now, which is a very easy assignment for me.
Okay, perfect. And, you occasionally just throw a 5 in there and, you bid on something a little bit.
Yeah, like there's a Chip Foose-inspired green Mustang, maybe throw a 5 on that one.
Yeah, there is a Chip Foose Mustang. I think this is an honorable mention for you.
I would one day like a SEMA build just to see how good or bad they are in real life compared to what they look like in pictures. But
that would be a fun series. I'd like that. Man, this on that checkered floor. This is so deep, SEMA. Man, look at that thing. Ugh, that's tough.
It's of the era, I bet you could roast some tires and have a lot of fun with this car.
I'll bet you could too. And then you do get to say you have a SEMA car. What is this shifter?
It's shifter.
It's shifting. It looks like it's heat sinking is what it's doing, but that is a wild build.
It's definitely not a Kennan car. It is a Nick car. So,
especially from that angle, evidently. A producer told us that was the best angle of the car, which was an odd thing to say. But nonetheless, a very interesting car.
We love him nonetheless, but my 3 picks, that one didn't quite make the cut. Okay. I am pretty excited about them. Do I get to go first?
Yes, please.
I'm going to go first. I'm going to start out with which one do you have queued up here? I'm going to go with the Aventador first. You can figure it out. I coming from a Murcielago, I had kind of looked down on Aventadors for a while because just that me being stuck in the early 2000s, I assumed the replacement was worse. However, the Aventador's really grown on me. I think the styling is wonderful. It continues that Murcielago, the hard lines, the hard edges, raw, aggressive. It's still the same basic E-gear transmission that I knew and loved, and I do wonder if it's swappable. That is a conspiracy theory of ours now on the pod that I think has some merit, and I need to do some more digging. I dig this with the yellow interior. I love Stradmans where he's modified them. I think it's just a very versatile car. I think it's very drivable, very ownable. It's going to keep aging well. I don't mind the Revolto either. I think it's a nice car, and they did a good job with it. But the Aventador is an icon for the younger generation. I think this will just keep appreciating and kind of come into its own. Whereas right now it's sort of in that weird limbo where it's not new enough to be the new thing. It's not old enough to be the old thing. But I think it has a lot of room to grow up.
It's so funny you say that because I have always felt this car rules. I for whatever reason, and it's not just you. There are a lot of people who become Lamborghini fans who don't like the Aventador. They think, because admittedly, a lot of them were built. There are more Aventadors than there are any of the V12 Lamborghinis combined before it, which is crazy. They built so many of them, but it also, I think, underscores how few Lamborghinis actually were made before.
Really more of that. Yep.
But I have always thought it looks so cool. That rear, look at that. That is what a Lamborghini should look like. It should look crazy. It should just look like it's from another planet.
So good from every angle.
So it is all theater, and look at that. Just all theater and drama. And to your point, the manual swap idea is interesting given that it is a single plate clutch. Yeah. We'll see.
Keep that thought in mind for my next car, manual swaps. However, the other thing I'll say about the Aventador before we move on, the sound.
Oh, that starter motor.
The Mercy sounds cool. The Mercy sounds amazing, actually. So does the Countach. So does the Diablo. The Aventador just nails that high-pitched, screaming like you're just murdering something sound. Yep. It's unbelievable with an aftermarket exhaust. The noises you can get out of this car are ear-piercing in the best way possible.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite sounding cars of all time.
I totally agree. And of course, it was no longer the Bitserini V12. This is the first time they revised that architecture since it came out with the 250G or the 350 GT, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But it does sound
It sounds really good.
You know
And
that.
the benefit of that being revised is this was done under Volkswagen Audi ownership, which one argues is maybe that they were paying a little bit closer attention to detail to some of these things versus a Mercy, a Diablo might catch on fire at any given time. Certainly a Mira would. So I would think that there's some reliability that goes along with this, even if it isn't the Bizzarini engines that Ferruccio famously said he didn't want to then use for the next 50 years. So.
Well, he used what he had. He was focused on tractors and making wine at the end of that anyway. He was long out of Lamborghini, and they continued to use it. But I agree, for all the reasons you highlighted, the Aventador is a special car, and I'm not at all surprised that it made your list. I'm going to throw in an exotic.
Okay.
Because there are a couple different cars I picked, but only one exotic, interestingly, and that's this 512 Testarossa. Now, I talked about it a little bit on the podcast, but this one is fascinating because it's a European imported car with a ton of miles on it, 74,400 miles to be specific, which is crazy for one of these.
Yeah.
And this being from the era when the engine does have to come out for belt services, you can only imagine how many times that thing has been dropped in and out of this car. Quite a few. But I think it looks fantastic. The interior has aged very well, given the mileage. Ferrari interiors are not known for holding up over years, but this one has wear on it, but it still looks like pretty good to me. And here's an opportunity to drive what I feel is the best version of the Testarossa. Because the earlier cars, the engines were mounted very high. They sit on a subframe, which makes it actually easier to service. But it means the engine is much higher. And it being rear mid-engine, it means that the rear end of the car acts more like a pendulum. With this car, they got it much lower, which makes the center of gravity lower, makes it handle much better. And they revised the suspension geometry completely. It's completely different from the Testarossa. And they added these beautiful, what then inspired the 355 magnesium wheels, which I think just look just right. They tidied up the design in the front, just made it more symmetrical. All of these things, I think, dramatically improved the car. My uncle had a 512 Testarossa for a very long time. He owned standard Testarossa, he's owned Countachas, he owned an F512M, he's owned Barletta Boxer, he's owned them all.
512M, huh? That's a choice.
He did have a 512M. I don't think it was for long, but he did have those cars. And then he had...
he got his eyes corrected in that and had the basic done.
Then he had a 5.7, 6-speed, and he had that for the longest of any of them. But he sold his Testarossa and regretted it, and I make fun of him to this day for selling that car, because I think it is spectacular. So
that thing is legit. I love it. Kudos to the seller or whoever racked up all those miles. I hope whoever buys it also drives it. And it's going to be guilt-free miles other than just your maintenance costs, because, you're not trying to preserve some low number on the odometer at this point.
Everybody says it, and I think it is true with these Italian cars. They are so much better when you use them. They're designed... Cars are designed to be objects in motion, and when they sit still, they really hate it.
I was shocked the Murcielago just sitting in this office for 2 weeks. That cold start, it was a little unhappy, even just 2 weeks is enough for these cars to feel it.
Absolutely. They should be driven as often as you can, and life is short. Enjoy your Italian car.
This is a tangent, but our good friend Matt just bought a Diablo that presumably had been sitting for a while, and it's on its third or fourth mechanic in his 3 or 4 months. So, then the O2 sensor was unplugged. Oh, now it's plugged back in, but it doesn't work right, and you're chasing neglect problems.
And I went through that too, right? My F355 was hard to own. That car had been sitting for a long time, and then it had but even that wasn't enough. It took a long time to shake the cobwebs out of it. But if a car like this is driven a lot, I find they're just so much happier.
I'm hoping my Arnage is that way. It's a lot of cobwebs. It was a bit of a spider nest, but eventually maybe
a rat's nest.
But the problem with the Arnage is it breaks so often that it ends up sitting a lot, just sitting at a mechanic instead of sitting at home. So either way, it's not getting used.
It's sitting one way or another. All right, Nick, hit us with your second. You said there was another swapped car.
Actually, a 430 Spider.
Oh, right, another Ferrari.
Swapped by my homeboys at Machina Motorworks in Texas. They did my Murcielago. I am still buddy-buddy with them, even though I've sold the car. And I trust them to a high degree with their swapping. So to me, again, I would like to find cars I can put miles on it without feeling guilty. Ferrari people are notoriously fickle for originality and maintenance and service history and all the other weird stuff that they do to court favor and be able to buy the next California T or whatever model they're in line for. But I'd say this is the right spec. It's red on tan. I think the 430s age great. Really nicely. I love spiders or convertibles or whatever you want to call them. The open top experience, you hear it, you feel it when the sun's out. You can't beat the feeling of a Ferrari drop top. This is one I would personally bid if I hadn't already bought the Mercy replacement. A 430 Spider with a manual swap was very high on my short list of cars to buy. So I love this one. I think it'll go to, I think this will go to an enthusiast that really wants to just drive and enjoy a 430, and it's aging great. There's nothing bad I can say about this car.
Couldn't agree with you more. I think the F430 is one of the great modern Ferraris. They are relatively reliable cars. They're well made.
Yep.
You can manual convert them, or if you have the money, you can get a factory one too. Even the F1 system in that car, I think, is very good.
Yeah.
The thing with the manual conversions I found with them is you got to shift the gears really fast. The flywheel, it just drops revs like crazy.
Yep.
So you just got to shift it quickly. It's fun. To hear that the engine does sound awesome. These cars shared the same exhaust system that the Challenge Stradale had.
Yeah.
So it does sound awesome. Again, completely different engine, much larger and chain driven, obviously.
Yep.
Very usable. I agree. I think they look better to me better and more exotic every single day.
I like this one too in that, you convert a car, it is a modification. A lot of times when people start modifying, they get carried away. This one still has the stock wheels. They didn't tint the taillights. They didn't put a bunch of Ferrari badges where they don't belong. A lot of the tropes of Ferrari owners end up happening to the 430. A lot of 430s these days have just fallen into the sort of cheesier owners who bought it because it was a Ferrari, not because they knew what they were buying. So
this one also has the IPE.
And headers.
Yeah, headers, and this thing sounds awesome.
Wicked.
Yeah, that is quite the combination.
Is the Pioneer head unit the one with the dolphin swimming? Because that would be
that's a great question.
You know what I mean?
Know.
That
I do know the one that you're talking about.
That unit is everything.
See if I can find it.
They're expensive now, but you can find them. I doubt it does.
I don't think it does.
I think that was more like 2002. Although it's close, that actually does look kind of dolphin-y.
It might have some dolphin action.
It is of that era, which is great. It's a period correct Pioneer head unit.
Right, exactly. But
how amazing. So yeah, an Aventador for I just want to flex. It's got a roof and it's got a single clutch. Then this for when I want to go on a spirited mountain drive, canyon drive, whatever. But a Lambo and a Ferrari in my garage, you can't beat that.
No, you can't beat that.
And I think they're both in the right colors. A red Ferrari, than a black Senator Aventador.
Yeah, that is your Dr. Jekyll and Hyde kind of situation.
And
you got two halves of it.
I'm going to wake up the neighborhood. Both of these cars.
Yep, your neighbor.
Your favorite neighbor of mine will have some words for us.
Yes, exactly. I wonder how he feels. He's probably thrilled the Mercy's gone now.
I think the whole neighborhood's cool with that.
Everybody sleeps a little more easily at night. All right, now I picked my next car is something very different. So this is a 2002 Mercedes R129 SL600 Silver Arrow.
Yeah.
The reason this is notable is not only is it relatively low mileage, R129s get driven a lot.
It's already up to 46.5 with 6 days left.
These cars are seriously valuable. So the Silver Arrow models they did for both the V8 and the V12. For the V8, they made a ton of them. For the V12, only 100. So it's an incredibly rare car. The SL600 also is just one of the great 6-liter V12s. It's so silky smooth. Of course, in a different form, it went on to be used in the Pagani Zonda, famously. You can make these cars sound like Zondas, not that you would with the Silver Arrow, but it's basically the Silver Arrow just added it was largely a trim package, but the fact they made so few of them on a relatively modern car makes this one of the collectible R129s. This is the SL72 and the 73, but those are unobtainium.
Yeah.
This is a little bit more down to earth and just R129 is probably my favorite generation SL. I don't know. Well, 300 SL, Pagoda, and then probably this. And then the R230 after that. I just think the Bruno Sacre design is beautiful. That engine's amazing. It's rare. It's special.
That V12 badge.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
That is
the
flex.
business right there.
That is, yes, absolutely. If you were a successful producer
the front end, you really can't tell that clearly, even as someone who likes R129s, that it's something special. But that badge is just like an exclamation point at the end that just tells you, yeah, boy.
Oh, it's just a subtle it's the V12.
Yeah.
It's wow, you have an SL500?
It's the equivalent of the Range Rover people saying "nice Jeep peasant" on the back of their car. It's a flex.
This one is taste. That one is tasteless. Oh. But I love these cars. The wheels aren't for everybody. But they're one of the unique touches of the Silver Arrow. Make it instantly.
I don't hate them. I don't love them. But yeah, But I think it's all original, which is what you want.
It's original, exactly. That is exactly. God, look at that engine. Oh, there's a video Harry Metcalf did, which if you haven't watched his SL600 video, you should. But he's talking about the car and does this whole thing. He says, and then if you notice, and he zooms in with the camera, there's a coin that's been bouncing in the middle the entire time, which is cool. I've always wanted to do that with a V12. But the
Mercy supposedly was able to do that too, and that's how you can check to see if you need a valve adjustment. If the coin doesn't stay up, that means it's time.
That's the official Lamborghini.
I don't know if it's official, but that's how all of us internet nut swingers figure it out.
You know, I'll bet that actually probably has something to that. Well, okay, so that's my choice. Now you also picked a Mercedes, a very different one.
A little different, a little different. I figured with an Aventador and a 430, I needed a daily. What better daily than a 3-row minivan that packs a 6.2 liter V8? This one has had the head bolts done. I've already talked about this on the podcast, but I'll repeat it here. So hard to find these as someone who's literally in the market and may or may not bid on this. It's hard to find them with low miles. Most of them are, 150, 200,000 miles, couple dings on the Carfax. Maybe they painted things and tinted things and lowered it and put different wheels on it and such. Other than them having slightly updated wheels, this thing is bone stock. The head bolts have been done, which is the big watch out that you can spend several $1,000s addressing proactively. It's in very, very good shape. No problems on the Carfax, 60-some thousand miles. It hasn't been Rentec tuned or Weiss Tech tuned. A lot of them are modded. So if you're wanting just like a clean R63, this is among one of the nicer ones that have transacted in a while. Or should transact in a while.
They just don't come up. It is truly the case of find another one. Like, you're just not going to. There was an R63 in my hometown growing up. I remember seeing it regularly. It was black. And it was like, oh man.
The black makes it even more subtle. Like, this is just such a sleeper of a vehicle. Like, I truly could give it to my wife and she would be like, what is this? Like, it just looks like a normal car. And funny enough, the base model of this is like a $4,000 car or something. Like,
absolutely.
They're not desirable, but the R63 is so cool, so special. Even Mercedes themselves brought one to Quail last year and like showed it off a little bit. So there were 200 or so, you said?
I think there's something like that.
200 globally, 113 I think was North America. So incredibly rare car. If you know, you know.
Deep if you know, you know. I love that dearly. What a great car.
Yeah.
I love a good hot rodded Mercedes, and I can't believe they did this. Mercedes AMG just like gets carte blanche to do whatever the crazy crap they want to do, and they did this, which is
they did
awesome.
Everything cool you could do except for put a manual in it, which is all we wanted. Like,
I would
have sacrificed a couple AMG models to get some manuals. There are couple companies that can do that for you, but
you gotta remember,
how cool would that have been?
You have to remember, at 07, every F430 was F1 because that's all people wanted.
No one would have spec'd an R63 with a manual, but imagine the 3 people that did that suddenly have like a 6-figure R63.
Easily.
That would be wild.
But so cool that Mercedes built this. I can't believe they did. But
so that's my 3-car, money no limit. My 2 exotics and then my minivan.
Very good choice. So I chose an older exotic car for that experience. A car that's cool and collectible, but I can still use pretty much every day because R129s are rock solid, and so is that engine. So now I needed something very different. And as you will note, there's no BMW yet in the list, and I'm a BMW boy. So I needed a BMW, and I chose this 2009 128 Coupe. Now, you might say, Kennan, why would you want a 128?
I am thinking that.
This one, you'll be proud of me, is extensively modified, but in very cool ways because it got the S65 V8 from the E9X M3 and a 6-speed manual, and it has the 1M body kit on it, which I think looks absolutely sensational. Oh, I'm sorry. This one isn't automatic. Not a manual. My mistake. This one's the auto. But still, look at the build process photos.
Recaro Sportsters. I'm into that.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Look at the build quality this person went to. Like, there's modifying a car and then there's building a car. This is a build. And I can respect a car that is built really well. And it's got the glorious S65 V8. Wow. This is the car that BMW should have built. The 1M is an awesome car. Absolutely love it. But the thing is, like, you kind of want to know, it's like, well, what if it had the V8? Like, it would be so cool. Well, this one does. And it still looks very much like a 1M. Honestly, if you put 1M wheels on it, you could, despite the fact that 1M was never painted this color. This is what's the name of this color? Rubino red. Yeah, it was never, exactly. Not Valencia.
It looks close.
It's close. But I think this car is so cool. And one of the coolest BMW builds that we've had recently. And this car, you have to imagine, this thing weighs nothing, rear-wheel drive, that V8, it must rip.
That is... You know, you guys get these builds every once in a while, like people that make their own wagon variants of cars that weren't made, or
Yes.
the B7 RS4 clone you had way back when. I love when those cars come to your site. Like, and this is such a cool one because truly, if you hadn't highlighted, I would have just like scrolled past it and not noticed it.
Right.
And then you tell me this story, and I'm like, wow, I'm so into this.
I know. I am.
Yeah.
There are a number of people who have done this build before, or have taken a 1M and have done it.
Yeah.
Even like Dynan did that in period. Like they experimented around with that.
Yeah.
But I love this platform. I've talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
I think that the 135 is really good.
I could
think
see
the
you in
1M
one for sure.
Yeah, they're just fun, but the V8 takes it to that level. That's like, damn, that's a cool car.
I would love to park next to a 1M and just like rev my motor at them. Like,
Right.
what you got there, huh?
Right, exactly. Boom. Yeah, exactly. I think that would be really cool. But so I've got
I also applaud you for getting out of your shell a little bit, out of your comfort zone, and
still
buying a
BMW,
modded car.
Yeah, heavily modified.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
I think this, when mods are done well and are done to like OEM plus, or like, and like someone takes the time to do it right, I applaud that. I have a lot of respect for that. It's when they're like slammed to the ground and bottom out over a business card that I'm less interested.
Okay. There's hope for you yet, and I'm hoping that E39 gets some rims on it soon.
Over my cold, dead body. But recapping your three cars, you chose an Aventador, a manual converted F430, and an R63 killer. I chose a 512 Testarossa, an R129 SL600, and this, I'm going to call it the 1M V8. Not a bad selection. I'd be very happy with either of those garages, if I'm completely honest. But let us know what you think. Who chose the better garage this week? We will have a community post that will be located in the link below. You can go and let us know who chose the better car. Now, last week, Filippo...
I was going to say, are you going to brush over the fact that you got smoked last week?
Are you gonna brush over the fact that you also got smoked last week? Filippo crushed us. It wasn't even close.
Oh, I was on that, wasn't I?
Yes. Yes, you were. Filippo.
Yeah, that's true. I don't care that I lost. I care that you lost.
Filippo absolutely demolished. It was not a surprise. He chose really well. I think your Focus choice was great, but there's no question the S-Cargo 718R is far apart as two cars can get. I think on the automotive spectrum, and Filippo absolutely.
He won so big that he decided to give himself 2 weeks off to celebrate.
Right. So. He just ran out of the office, holding his hands up in the air, just screaming that he was the victor, and started playing We Are the Champions, and we never saw him again.
Yep.
But nonetheless,
he went to Japan so he could feel tall.
He's wearing that giraffe shirt unironically in Japan.
Yep.
Well, thank you all so much for watching. Tell us who chose the better garage this week, and we will talk to you next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.